Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running?
Alright, so I was not even aware that one of the missions for the Theme Chronicle event was win going second. Fortunately, I had no such issues with that mission because we're playing Tenpai at home, except it's not even really at home. It's like at the fucking homeless shelter. This deck. There's no 1-card LTK with this. As you can see, I don't have room for quite as much non-engine as Tenpai has. And I need to resolve 2-card combos. So, yeah, but yeah, this is a going second deck, and the reason any going second that works right now in this event is because we have 3 copies of Fuelos and 3 copies of Purulia. So, hell yeah, as you saw, Purulia wins games by itself just by activating from the hand. The opponent doesn't even do anything, and you just. But yeah, this is Gishki. Once again, blind second Gishki is there's absolutely 0 sprite monsters to play with this, so this is the only way to play Gishki this event. And yeah, this deck's pretty good at going second. You know, the whole spiel is that we have this card called Gishki Necromirror, which this card is the reason why this deck is so good at going second, because you can tribute your opponent's face-up monsters for your ritual summons, and you know that sacking your opponent's strongest monster to summon your own monster, likely and Neremonis, which immediately puts up a monster on the field to deal with other threats. It's simply, it's a huge swing going second. Now the issue is because all the rank 10 XCs are kind of banned. So for example, the way this deck normally OTKs is that it clears your opponent's board, which, you know, it's pretty easy to clear your opponent's board, and then you attack twice with 2 rituals, and then you overlay them to a Gustav Max, and then that deals the 2k. So you go 6k, 6k, 2, and then plus 2k. Unfortunately, we don't have Gustav Max here. It was banned for this event. So in order to OTK your opponent, you have to physically make 3 ritual summons. So it's a bit harder to OTK, because any old hand that can ritual summon once can just make 2 ritual monsters. It's pretty easy. But to make the 3rd one, you need to. It's a bit more involved. You should generally be able to do it. It's just it's a longer combo time, and it's sometimes it can be a little weaker to disruption, but most of the time you should be fine. And Zeal Gigas is also a key part of this, because Zeal Gigas, you draw a card, and if it's a Gishki monster, you spin a card on the field. So between Necromirror and like 2 Zeal Gigas activations, your opponent their board should most likely be cleared for the most part, and you can always hit one. You can always guarantee a Zeal Gigas hit with Necromirror, because Necromirror, once it's in the grave, you can stack it on top of the deck and then stack any Gishki monster to the top of your deck. So you're guaranteed that the top of your deck is going to be a Gishki monster. So Zeal Gigas is guaranteed to hit. So yeah, just a few things to keep in mind when playing this deck. I haven't played this deck in a hot minute, so you're gonna see in the replays I fumbled a lot, and sometimes it doesn't matter because this deck just sometimes has gas for days, but sometimes, you know, you also have to play kind of perfectly. Otherwise, if you mess up your resource loop, you end up running out of gas completely too. So yeah, and for the engine, I'm just maxing on all the basically every starter I have. So you have Beautiful Princess, which literally just summons Grimness or Abyss. Grimness summons Abyss, and Abyss is the... If you read this card, you'll notice there's one thing missing. It's that there's no part on this card that says once per turn at all. and this card is when this card is summoned at all, including special summon. So you're gonna be summoning this 2-3 times almost every time you combo, and you can summon this off of Nerimon. When Nerimon is original summon, you get the special summon a monster from grave. So imagine you normal summon Gishki Abyss, or you special Gishki Abyss off the Grimness, and then you get a search. Then you link this off into Core Enemy, revive Abyss, get our second search, link off the Core Enemy and the Abyss into a Haggard Lizardos, ritual summon Nerimanas, revive Gishki Abyss. There's your third search. You searched 3 times in one ritual summon cycle, and then you draw, and then later on in the turn you draw another card off the Haggard Lizardos. So one Grimness can essentially get you 3 Abyss searches plus a draw. And generally, if you get that far, you're gonna have enough resources to OTK your opponent at that point. Like that's just too many resources. And yeah, Grimness. The one thing about this is that you have to keep in mind that this prevents you from attacking with anything but ritual monsters. That's why you have to summon 3 Nerimon, or you have to summon 3 ritual monsters. If you use Grimness, you can technically do a combo without Grimness with just a Gishki Abyss, but it's a bit harder because you don't. Grimness lets you link off to a 1-card core enemy, which basically lets you do your full combo, whereas if you start with Gishki Abyss, obviously you're going to have to somehow find the second monster somewhere, which is a lot harder to do than, just normal summoning Grimness. And yeah, you have 3 Vision, 3 Shadow. You max on these. Shadow adds the ritual spells, and Vision adds the ritual monsters. And the way you're supposed to ritual summon is you're supposed to always... So the first one you summon is going to be off Necromirror, just to get the Necromirror engraved so you can set up the guaranteed stack. But every ritual summon after Necromirror, you're going to use Aquamirror, and you're going to sack a ritual monster to special summon a ritual monster. You don't want to use Gishki Shadow or Gishki Vision or Grimness most of the time as the full tribute, because you lose value. For Aquamirror, you can add a Gishki monster, you can add a Gishki ritual monster from your grave to your hand by putting this into the deck. So if you sack a ritual monster to summon another ritual monster, you get to add the ritual monster back to your hand. So you maintain advantage. That you just have to get another ritual spell basically to perform another ritual summon. Whereas if you sack one of these monsters, you don't get anything back, and you have to find a way to get both of another ritual spell plus another ritual monster to ritual summon again. So yeah, just keep in mind like the loop with Aquamirror plus Zealgaze. I'm sure if you own this deck and you still have these cards, you should know what I'm talking about. But I'm just mentioning for the later replays. If I combo a certain way, it's because I always want to sack a ritual monster for another ritual monster if I can. And Mulcharmy's. Well, this is honestly, this isn't really meant as a way to stop my opponent. I mean, it's nice, but also it's just draw power. It just gets consistency because you need to see multiple engine cards to OTK your opponent, unlike with Tenpai. So the draws actually do help with the consistency. And Nibiru, honestly, I kind of should have ran 3 of this instead of Droplet. Droplets barely ever did anything, and I didn't even need Droplet most of the time. Something had something to do with the fact that I could just sack my opponent's biggest threat. So like the Droplets, it's like whatever. Why would I need this? But yeah, Nibiru. The only reason I didn't run 3 Nibiru was because I thought their Eldlich was gonna be more popular. Eldlich Invoked, all that stuff. And then if I'm playing against Eldlich Invoked, or stuff like that, that's more mid-rangey and doesn't summon 5 times a turn. That or like Dragon Maid, for example, I wouldn't want Nibiru. I'd rather have Droplet. But I just played against a bunch of Lightsworns and plants. So this card goes way harder. Almost every time I resolve this card, I basically want the game. And it's very nice because it makes another body on the field, which means that you can, even if you start with normal summon Gishki Abyss, you can link off the Abyss plus the Nibiru into a Cross Sheep to get the Abyss into the grave, and then you can when you summon Nerimanas, you get to trigger the Cross Sheep effect. So you get the mini Graceful Charity, draw the ritual effect that nobody knows about on Cross Sheep, draw 2, discard 2, free hand cycling. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Also, like if you, it's just 3k, so if you don't start with Grimness, it basically makes OTKing so much easier because you don't have to start with Grimness if you have to Nibiru as well. And yeah, then Duster, Heavy Storm because they banned Lightning Storm, and Twin Twister as like a 40th card as a flex spot, since Hey Trunade is kind of what I considered at first because it doesn't need a discard. But the problem with Hate Trunade is that it doesn't return face-up spell and traps, it just returns set spell and traps, so stuff like Kong and stuff like Babel will still stay on the field, so that's why I ultimately wouldn't consider this, because Kong's really annoying if it stays on the field with a Princess engraved still. And yeah, Focus Oxymir, I only own one of this. You should definitely be playing 3 of this, but this searches any Gishki monster. So yeah, obviously you would play 3 of it's not it's also, I believe, not a once per turn. You can only use this the search, the Rhoda effect of Oxymir is not a once per turn. The once per turn is the end phase effect where you set a Oxymir spell trap in the end phase. But we don't care about that because you're never getting to the end phase because you're just killing your opponent that turn. So if you open multiple Focus Oxymir, that's just 3 searches, easy. And then the 2 Gishki Oxymir, the 2 Oxymir plus the 1 Necromir ratio, I think it's pretty standard. And then Salvage is, anytime you resolve Salvage, you should also win the game, because Salvage just gives you, it adds back a Shadow and a Vision to your hand, and then you can discard these again. So it basically gives you a Ritual spell plus a Ritual monster every time you resolve Salvage. So yeah, that should be enough resources to help you get there. Then the extra deck, none of this stuff actually matters. The only stuff that matters here that I actually went into was Almirage, Nightmare Phoenix 1 time, Coron Enemies, only 1 though, I never made the second one. Never made this a couple times. Honestly, it wasn't even correct that I made this a couple times. You should probably be making Coron Enemy over Cross Sheep anytime you can. Cross Sheep is really only if you have like a Nibiru on the field. Obviously you can't make Coron Enemy with Nibiru, so this is the next best thing. Never made this, never made this, never made the Dino Mondos. Why would I need Dino Mondos when Zeogigas already clears the field already? Haggard Lizardos is actually really nice because it lets you link off the it lets you link off the Abyss plus the Coron Enemy into something that's relevant, and then you put the Abyss back into the grave. And then again, Haggard Lizardos, when you summon back the like Abyss, you can just banish the Lizardos itself and then get another draw to continue going from there. Never made Unicorn, never made Marble Rock, never made a rank 3, so I only made like 1, 2, 3, 4. I only made 5 out of 15 cards in the extra deck, so yeah, that's how important it was. But yeah, let's watch how much I fucked this up. Alright, this duel is basically just clown to clown communication. We go second and open Purulia, right? And my opponent Ash Blossoms. And this is honestly half the reason why I played 6 Mulcharmies. It's because if they don't resolve, that means my opponent got rid of Ash or Called By. And that's what I care about more. Like, honestly, Called By is more annoying against my deck than whatever end board they set up. So I just want to use Purulia to get Called Bys and Ashes out of my opponent's hand. So mission accomplished. Okay. And here opponent sets 3 pass. And here you're probably thinking, why would you Ash Purulia if you weren't going to normal summon this turn? But my opponent's goals are beyond our understanding. It's better to just not question it and just move on, because we will never be able to understand such high IQ gameplay as that. So speaking of high IQ, now it's my turn. Okay, and my opponent activates the Elixir, and I chain Twin Twisters to play around the counter trap. And my opponent Called Bys the Critical Princess. See, that's why Called By is annoying. If Called By the Grave hits my Gishki Vision or hits my Gishki Shadow, I lose, because I'm using these cards 3-4 times a turn. And you know, 1 Called By effectively cuts me off like what, 3-4 searches in that case. So yeah, that's a no-go. But instead they hit the Tuneful Princess, which I'm fine with it. And you see they have the Golden Land Forever set there, so playing on the counter trap was correct. And that was the last good play I made this entire turn. Because now, watch this, I use Gishki Visions. If they had another Ash, they clearly don't have anything, so I add Neramonis, and I use Alchemir to add Grimness. I'm gonna normal summon Grimness, and standard combo, you know, add Abyss. This is easy OTK right now, okay? Like literally, you could close your eyes and randomly click buttons, and you would probably find a way to OTK my opponent. But I did worse than just clicking randomly, okay? I go into Cross Sheep. Why would you go into Cross Sheep? If I made Coron Enemy, that was game right there already. I don't know why I made Cross Sheep. Number 1, Cross Sheep is a mistake. Number 2, Aqua Mirror. I did not search Necro Mirror, so I have to sack the Zero Gigas out of my hand to summon Neremonis, which is normally not a big deal, but Neremonis, here's the brutal mistake. Cross Sheep, Chain Link 1, Neremonis, Chain Link 2, Special Summon Gishki Abyss. Okay, so Special Summon Gishki Abyss. Now where draw 2, discard 2, yeah, that was real helpful. Yeah, imagine playing Cross Sheep drawing with 0 cards in hand. Okay, what nice big brain move there, buddy. Fucking idiot. And then Gishki Abyss. Why this Gishki Abyss didn't trigger? Why do you think this Gishki Abyss didn't trigger? Okay, so when this card is summoned, you can. That's right, this card was so old that it was before once per turns, and it was before missing the timing was like fixed out of the game. This card can miss timing. So I summoned this at Chain Link 2, I missed timing, and Cross Sheep just milled 2 cards from the top of my deck. That's fantastic. That's the absolute worst way to make use of my hand right there. That was literally a fucking baby could have randomly pressed buttons and done a better play than what I just did right there. So yeah, I lost everything. And now I'm scrambling. So I Gishki Alchemir and add back the Zero Gigas, and then I link the Abyss and the Neremonis into Core Anemone. And then Core Anemone is going to bring back the Abyss again. And the Gishki Abyss is going to add a Shadow. And this time we're going to use Shadow to add Necro Mirror, like I should have at the start. And now Necro Mirror, sack my opponent's Golden Lord, special summon Zero Gigas, and I'm going to link these two into Haggard Lizardos, and I'm going to use Haggard Lizardos banish itself to target Zero Gigas to draw a card, draw into a... Thank God I drew into Engine. That was so lucky that I drew into a playable Engine piece extender, like an Aqua Mirror. So now I'm going to put Vision back and use Zero Gigas to reveal the Vision. I have to spin a card, which is fine. I'll just spin back the Core Anemone. And now Vision gets a Neremonis, and I get the Aqua Mirror, the Zero Gigas, and then Neremonis summons back the Abyss. The Abyss will add a Shadow, and then Aqua Mirror puts itself back to add the Neremonis back to my hand. And now I use Shadow to add the Aqua Mirror, and now I use Aqua Mirror to sack the Neremonis for another Neremonis, so that actually accomplished nothing there. Like, I sacked the Neremonis to summon a Neremonis, and yeah, unfortunately the Beautiful Princess is called by it, so I can't summon back the Beautiful Princess. I don't have another Gishki Abyss in grave. So you know what I have to do here? I have to Neremonis summon back Zero Gigas. And here I have to blind call, hope I hit something off the Zero Gigas. I have to get lucky off the Zero Gigas. And I draw the Aqua Mirror again. Never punished. So I spin back the... I don't have to spin anything back because it's not a Gishki monster. So literally, if I didn't draw 2 Aqua Mirror off 2 random draws, I would have failed to OTK my opponent. And here I get to add Neremonis back, and now finally I get to Gishki Aqua Mirror, summon back the summon the Neremonis summons back the Zero Gigas for a 3rd time, and and then the battle phase. That's game, yeah. So playing, man, I was rusty, so I played like a bot, but sometimes it doesn't matter, and I know my opponent probably saw me sack the hell out of them, so my apologies. But also, if they didn't ash my Mulcharmy for no reason, they also probably would have won anyway. So you know what? Just this game technically happened. Alright, so to continue the string of just perfect play from me, I open Purulia again. So we're gonna use Purulia, and my opponent normal summons Ogier, and they're playing Infernoble Flame Swordsman. So, you know, they set up a pretty... I mean, I don't think they set up a really... You'll see what they set up. So they're at Fire Flint Lady, and then they special summon Fire Flint Lady. I'm at this point, I'm like, you are not playing into a Purulia right now. There's no way. They gave me 3 draws on Purulia. I'm like, what are you doing? So she comes back to Flame Swordsman, and look at what let's just see what they set up in the end. So they're gonna have the Flame Swordsman and 4 draws off Purulia. I didn't even know like Infernoble was capable of summoning 4 times from the hand in 1 turn, but you know what? Okay, so Angelica, and then Angelica is gonna add Museum, okay, and then Museum will add the Joyousy, and then Angelica will send Oliver, summon out Roland, and then equip to the Flame Swordsman, and then Museum summon the Oliver, and then Oliver gets sent to summon Flame Swordsman, and this is what they end on. all of that to end on 2 back row, because none of these monsters do anything right now. And you gave me 4 draws on the Purulia. So you know what happens when you give a blind second deck 4 draws off Purulia? Number 1, I'm going to activate Fuwalos just because I can, and then I'm going to heavy storm the back row. So yeah, that's neat. And then everything gets this pop, and then a Salamandra adds the fusion, and I'm going to use Gishki's Shadow, and they're going to chain the trap card, and they're going to fusion summon into a Fighting Flame Dragon. So they're going to give me another draw off of Mulcharmy, which is very funny. And then Gishki Shadow gets Aquaneer, and their board, literally none of these cards do anything interruption-wise. So let's see how I mess this up, okay? I have how many cards do I have? I have an 8-card hand. How badly do I have to play this to fumble the OTK? Okay, let's watch. So normal summon Abyss, add Vision, you know, pretty standard. Vision, add Zeogigas, and here I'm going to link into Almirage, and then activate Necromir, sacking one of their monsters to summon the Neramon from hand. Neramon is going to summon back the Gishki Abyss, and then Abyss is going to draw, it's going to add Shadow. I'm going to link these two into a Cross Sheep, and now I'm going to Shadow, add Aquamirror, and Aquamirror, I'm going to sack Neramonus to summon Zeogigas to the Cross Sheep Zone, and then I'm going to draw 2, discard 2, draw nothing really that. I drew 1 Shadow, so that was better than nothing, and then I had another useless Purulia. And now Vision, put Vision at the top of my deck, draw Vision, Zeogigas, spin another monster, Aquamirror, add the Neramonus back to hand, and yeah, activate Shadow, add another Aquamirror, sack the Zeogigas, summon the Neramonus, then Neramonus, summon back the Zeogigas, draw a random card, draw into a Neramonus, that was a sick draw, spin another card, then Vision, add another add the last Zeogigas to hand, activate Aquamirror, sack Zeogigas, summon the Neramonus, summon back the Zeogigas, effect again, draw into another Vision, and then sack. And then here, okay, so hold back, okay. Let's return to back when I had Neramonus, Zeogigas on the field. Okay, how much attack points is that? Okay, so that's 9,200 attack points, okay? What's my opponent's life points at? 68. So 92 minus 18 is my math's not great, but it's higher than 68. So I had game on board, and I decided to throw that away. And I also left the Flame Swordsman on the field. So my thought was I could at least droplet. If I was short on the life, I could droplet my opponent's monster too. Except I can't droplet the fucking Flame Swordsman because it's not an effect monster. So I messed up there too. Then I linked in the core enemy for no reason when I had game on board. I mean, I can't tell you what I was thinking because I'm pretty sure I was not thinking. My head was just empty. There was just the monkey bang cymbals and drums in my head right there. So now the Aquamirror, I'm gonna put it back and then add Neramon's back to hand, and then core enemy will revive Abyss, and Abyss searches a Gishki Grimness. Why? Because all 3 of my Gishki Shadow are gone. Because all 3 of my Gishki Shadows are gone, it means I cannot search another ritual spell. Which means I cannot ritual summon anymore this turn. So I fumbled game and I lost like 4k damage, and now this is all I can do. And we enter battle phase. And I failed to OTK my opponent when I had game on board. And I just decided to wow, that was almost top 100 Duelist Cup, by the way. And funnily enough, just by the way, that was the only damage I did this entire event so far. I'm playing a blind second deck. There's a mission to do 8k damage. This was the only damage I dealt in 20 games of playing a blind second deck. I love damage dealing missions. They're just so easy. They're just so convenient to do. And my opponent has nothing left because their end board was also nothing. Keep in mind. So what this event is really bringing out the best in everybody. You see, this is the real reason I call this deck Tenpai at home, because I'm playing this like a Tenpai player, like a complete and utter bot, like just misplaying every single fucking game. And half the time it doesn't even matter, never punished. Anyway, I drew double Purulia, and my opponent hard counters a double Purulia by setting a monster. So now I just -2'd myself. Sick. If I had any other engine piece in hand, this would have been nice. Except this is a hand where I opened 4 non-engine. So Gishki can't play with 5 non-engine plus 1 engine, unfortunately. This is the best I can do. Normal summon Princess. See if it gets Ash. The opponent does not have Ash, so at least that tells me something. Go into Abyss, go into Shadow, activate at the Aqua Mirror, and then go into Coral Enemy, bring back Abyss, search Vision, and here's where the set card sending a monster counters my deck so hard. 1, you don't get the draw of Purulia. 2, Gishki, let's go to related cards. Gishki Necro Mirror can only ritual summon using face-up monsters. So, because they set a monster, I can't even sack this for Necro Mirror. And number 3, I cannot link off into Haggard Lizardos, because Haggard Lizardos has to target a face-up monster. Which means that if I make Haggard Lizardos with these 2, I cannot banish Haggard Lizardos itself, which means I cannot draw a card off this. So I can't even try to draw out of this. This set monster, I lost to... I would have lost to Pac. I lost to 2004 T-Set Turbo. That's all I can do. I can't do anything else. I can't do anything. Well, my opponent reveals they're on P.U.N.K, Gold Pride P.U.N.K, and this is not great. So they're gonna summon Carry, and I'm like, I'm gonna drop with this because I don't want to deal with the trap card. The trap card is an interruption. If I can live, which I should live because I have a Nibiru, and then I don't have to deal with the trap card, I still have a chance to win this. I can still top deck out of this. Like normal summon Jewelry. That's unfortunate. You don't want to be drawing this card. Then they're going to Chariot Carry, and then Chariot Carry. Thankfully, only adds a spell card, not a trap card, so they're gonna activate the spell card, and I don't even bother Twin Twistering this. I don't want to discard any of these cards. I need 2 of these cards to play the game, and I need the Nibiru to stay alive. And now we're gonna go into Grand Pulse, and Grand Pulse is gonna pop my Twin Twister, so that doesn't really matter. And then they're gonna special summon Leon, and Leon's gonna summon out the Roller Baller, which is gonna fusion into Pinballer. Pinballer is gonna eat up my Coral Enemy, and then end of main, I activate Nibiru because they didn't even have an. I know they had a Flockutu in hand, but they had a Deer Note in hand. They searched off the Xiamen, but not Deer Note. Sorry, it was Foxy2 that they had, but they didn't even use this, which means that they didn't have a way to game me because they just entered battle phase with 6k damage on board. So I just Nibiru them to save myself the damage. Because fun fact, I need to pay life points for my deck. Necro Mirror costs life points to activate. Zeal Gigas costs life points to activate, so I kind of don't want to take any damage if possible. So here comes the Primal Being Token, and they're gonna triple Tactics Talon, take my Nibiru. And at this point, I was scared because they're gonna now Xiamen, or they're not gonna Foxy2 pitch and kill summon Xiamen and scoop. Dude, these games are just way too good. Like low key, if my opponent just attacked me directly with like 2 monsters plus including my Nibiru, I was gonna be struggling really hard to OTK them back because I would have lost half my life points, and I would only have a certain number of Zeal Gigas activations left. But they just took the Nibiru, summoned a second Xiamen after they already used the Xiamen that turn, and then presumably would have passed on nothing, and then scooped. Even though I literally don't have a play in hand. Like, I probably don't even play this game. Like, I had a 0, my hand was unplayable, and somehow my opponent decided to scoop before me. So, you know what? These events are just too entertaining. So, here's the only game where I did not egregiously misplay. However, my opponent did misplay because they're playing Pisstina, and they also selected to go first. Going first, Pisstina. What does this end on? Why don't we find out? So, summon Demigod, add the field spell, summon back Sentinel, set. Okay, can someone tell me what the fuck this board does? Does this do anything? Is any Pisstina players in my comments? Peeps, if you're watching, can you tell me what was supposed to happen? What is... Because I can't for the life of me figure out what this does. Are they waiting for me to pop their field spell? Are they probably waiting for me to pop their cards? Unfortunately, my deck doesn't pop cards, so bad matchup. I'm going to activate Shadow Mirror, see if they, I don't know, have any Ash or anything, and then I'm going to activate Necro Mirror, sacking their Demigod to summon Zealgigas. And here I'm going to Necro Mirror, stack the Shadow on top. No responses, so they have no interruptions. Guaranteed draw a Shadow, spin back the back row, and yeah, well, I guess they have no more. I guess they never had any interruptions to begin with, so you know, like Almirage, Aquamirror, sack Zealgigas, summon Nermanas, summon back Zealgigas, activate Shadow, search Aquamirror, draw a Vision, spin another card, activate Vision. That, yeah. Oh. Man, this is why we play events. And you can never get games like this in Master Ranked. Let me tell you that. So yeah, after like 20 games with this deck, you saw the types of games I was getting into. I don't know if this deck is good or shit. Like, I mean, I've opened Unplayable a few times, but I won those games anyways because my opponents just scooped. I can misplay like a Tenpai Player and still win this game just like a Tenpai Player. So, you know, maybe this is just the most broken deck in the Theme Chronicle. But yeah, if you want to see me play other decks that, you know, maybe you want to see me get into some real games with back and forth, like let me know. I'll try more grindy decks than Tenpai at home. And yeah, if you're still struggling to find a deck to play for this event, check out the videos the 2 videos I made showcasing you exactly all of the best decks and all of the budget decks that you can play for this event. Well, not all of them, but you know, a good number of them. Yeah, hopefully you'll find one that you can for this event.